quite an honor to be moderating the stage today with Luca and Gabby. Just before kicking off the stage, I'll briefly introduce myself because I'm sure everyone knows both Luca and Gabby, but probably not me. So I've been doing games since 2007. Worked with a lot of top brands like Disney and like toy brands from Hasbro and numerous others making games around those IPs. And have been shilling Web3 games since 2017, and hence have been in that OG group of Web3 gaming and have been shilling that ecosystem ever since. Thus, the relationship with Gabby, who also is a Web3 gamer, which was very natural. Regarding Luca, Netz and Pudgy Penguins, started following Pudgy Penguins when my wife gifted me a Pudgy Penguin when it was about 1 ETH, and then she got hacked. So I had to give her one, which was then 4 ETH, but it's all higher than that. So we're fine, and we're fanboy and fangirls of Pudgy Penguin ever since, and thus bought a big bag with Pingo and following Abstract, including most of our team. So. But still, like, it would be great if you briefly introduce yourselves.
I'm Luca Netz. I'm the CEO of Pudgy Penguins, CEO of Igloo Inc., which holds Pudgy Penguins and Abstract Chain. Our goal is to create the face of penguins around the world, to create and maintain the lead of being crypto's mascot, and hopefully one day in the face of finance. And Abstract looks to solve it be at least the consumer layer for Ethereum by solving the consumer journey, as well as bringing fun back to the EVM.
Hi everyone, my name is Gabby, Dizon, CEO of YG Play. So we are a Web3 gaming publisher. I've been in games for over 20 years now, entered crypto around 2017, 2018, been advocating for Web3 games ever since.
Great. So Luca, I just refreshed your memory over there, but last year I was also speaking at KBW and briefly met you in the lobby of this hotel, and like you were not surrounded by anyone, so it was easy to approach you and get a selfie. I still remember that intimacy you had, and probably not just with me, but like everyone that approaches you, but then basically are big fans of Pudgy Penguin, even the fans of Pudgy and its ecosystem. Like it would be great if you can share where that energy and intimacy comes from and how that's a part of Pudgy Penguin and its ecosystem.
Yeah, this one's really surprising to me because I think like crypto founders somehow, I guess, lost on them that they're like one of us, like we're one of you guys. I don't look at anybody in this room as lesser than me. I look at all of you guys as equals. Anybody listening to this right now to be more successful, build a bigger brand, and have a more important crypto project, Pudgy Penguins. I believe in that. I believe in you guys. And so I think it's really important to treat you guys with the same respect that I would want to be treated. And I was in the audience 4 years ago looking at somebody else, speak and yap away. So the hope is that at the end of the day, everything about Pudgy Penguins is treating people the way that you want to be treated, treating others like equals, even if you're the biggest billionaire or the smallest holder. We're all part of the huddle. We're all breaking the cold, and we're all trying to get to the same destination. And so I think that's kind of our mantra. But I really encourage a lot of other crypto founders to follow that. I mean, respect is really important. It's important for me. I hope it's important for you. And I hope if I ever interact with any of you guys at an individual level, that I give you the respect that you feel like you deserve.
To add to that, I think a lot has changed since I met you last year. You were on stage at the keynote like half an hour ago. What has changed since then? And including your feelings of coming back to Korea.
Yeah, I mean, I've absolutely fallen with Korea over the last couple of years. To all of my Korean native folks in the crowd, you guys should be so proud of your country. It is an unbelievable place, and not only one of the hubs of Web3 culture, but truly one of the hubs of Web2 culture. K culture is completely taken over the world, and so you guys should be really proud. I mean, what has changed? I think probably the biggest material change since we last saw each other is probably Tengu. Our holder base is a lot bigger. Before Tengu, we had a bunch of NFTs, and unfortunately, the NFTs by nature, if you have a successful NFT, it prices out a lot of people. And so it got into the point where, 50, 60, 80, $100,000 to be a part of our ecosystem was frankly too much money. And it seemed evidently clear that we need to, to actually be the face and mascot of crypto, like I had prophesized and like I told everybody that we were becoming. We needed something where everyone could align. So probably to your point, there's probably a little more people following, saying hi to me this time around, just because we actually have millions of holders, millions of people are Pudgy Penguins IP Igloo aligned versus the last time you and I saw each other. We probably had 10,000 unique holders because the asset was so expensive that only a couple people could end up buying into it. But now I'm really happy. I think we're in a really great position. Our NFTs are our first edition collectibles. We have Igloo, which is this mass market collectible that really aligns everyone's interests with the success of the brand. And our hope is to be and to represent crypto in the best way possible. I think we're doing that. But I also think you guys have yet to see the best of Pudgy Penguins. I really believe that.
Amazing. Over to you, Gabby. So YGG has been a de facto gaming ecosystem, and YGG has been basically you pushed the 2021 gaming summer that followed the DeFi summer. Since then, what has changed? And also, like, if you can share like why you've kind of onboarded on Abstract, what got you here?
Yeah, thanks, Joony. 4 years has been a long time since then. And since then, we've been working on growing the community and also trying to figure out what really does work in terms of Web3 gaming. I think people have tried to make a lot of different types of games and have NFTs that have Web3 elements. Honestly, not a lot of that has worked, but we believe we've found a formula that worked. We launched our game Lawland 4 months ago on Abstract Chain, which kicked off our Web3 game publishing unit, YDG Play. So since then, it's been a great ride. We've seen things work again. We have seen traction that, frankly, barely anyone has seen in Web3 gaming in years. So we're just accelerating that now.
Great. I think today I just briefly checked your analytics and also checked with some numbers with you. So Abstract right now has about 3.4 million accounts set up and more, and increasing, I think. And also Lowland, that's built and published on Abstract, has about 600K users.
That's
right.
right.
About 20% of Abstract users. So, I mean, the numbers are growing. It's doing well. And since we're talking about consumer crypto today, like, it would be great if you both can address what the synergies are, like what more you want to see on Abstract, and more interactions from the Abstract chain for you, Gib.
Yeah, I think there's multiple synergies with somebody like myself and Gabby. I look at Gabby as one of the best builders in crypto. I really believe that. I think the way they think of gaming, the way they think of consumer apps is best in class. I have two verticals that I think need people like Gabby. One is Pudgy Penguins, in the sense that Pudgy Penguins is a business model which is called Web3 licensing. This idea that if you're an app builder and you want extra go-to-market, if you want us to handle the PMF of your product, we skin it, we brand it Pudgy, and then we ship it to the market. And so, working with people like Gabby, there's opportunities for us to go and make products together where I know he's going to build a best-in-class product because YGG and their whole crew are best-in-class builders. And then, we can help monetize and bring more momentum and more experiences to the Pudgy Penguin community. On the Abstract side, I think it's pretty obvious to me. I think Abstract or blockchains in general live and die by the apps that are built on the chain. Chains don't make apps; apps make chains. And I need as many good builders as possible to deploy good products and good builds on the chain. And in return, we try to give him as much distribution as possible. And so the way that the Abstract is positioned, I have the ability to pull levers on the platform via the portal product to help drive more users and more clicks into his game. And because his game is so good, people click into it, they play it, they have fun, and they make money. And so, people keep coming back. So it's a really synergistic relationship. I hope to meet more people like Gabby, though they're far and few between.
What's interesting about working with Abstract has been, so there's a lot of chains that want to onboard games. Everyone thinks games will onboard mass adoption, and a lot of them are offering very serious grants to get games to come over. Guess how much in grants Abstract has given out so far? Zero. But why do the best apps going there? Because they have users, they have distribution, and they have paying users. So YG has always been known as a very strong Asian base. We have some really good players in LATAM. And tapping into Abstract when we launched LoLab, we saw in our analytics that the top two countries, geos that we had were USA and South Korea. And that took us by surprise because these were geos where we had not been strong traditionally. So being able to tap into that distribution advantage of Abstract was a big help for us.
Great. So yeah, adding to that, how has your experience been on building on Abstract up to now? Because now you're a builder.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's two things about Abstract. There's Abstract, the blockchain, and then there's the portal, which is the App Store. And the App Store part is really interesting because I'm used to working with app stores, having worked on mobile, iOS, Android devices. And the interesting thing about the Abstract portal is that they have things that you would want for a platform. So, for example, we first developed the game using Abstract Chain, and then after it launched, we got to the portal. They gave us a feature, and when we got featured, we got a user boost and we got a revenue boost, which is something that you're used to from dealing with app stores, right? So that means that the platform advantage is real, and that is a platform's job. You want to have discovery for your best applications. You want to go out and acquire users for these applications, and you want these applications to make money. So I think Abstract has been doing a good job of it.
Touching upon this, Luca, I just saw your keynote, so I know like Pudgy Penguins to 300 billion views up to now. Plus, like, how do you streamline all this exposure and attention to that within Abstract? And like, how do you keep that alive?
It's a great question. There's a multitude of different answers, but at least on the Pudgy side, it's imperative that I work with people like Gabby and YGG and maybe others to build Pudgy Penguin products that I can directly use and leverage the Instagram and the Twitter and other places to bring people onto the chain that can then go and use our product, but then also trickle down into LOL land and other products on the platform. So a big sprint for us, I think you guys will see probably 10 to, or not, probably less, 3 to 4, Pudgy Penguin branded products on Abstract. And I think the purpose of that is I want to be able to leverage, Pudgy Penguins pushing something and it's not Pudgy Penguins related doesn't make any sense. And we're not going to dilute the brand just because there's a chain involved in the ecosystem. But we will, and we want, and we deeply desire to go and make more Web3 products that are on chain that we can then leverage to bring more people onto the actual Abstract chain. Outside of Pudgy Penguins, though, like how do you grow Abstract? One, the product integrity on the platform needs to be good. And I think the platform itself is going under a rebrand because I don't believe you can push up right now the portal, for those who are familiar, is portal.abs.xyz. That's not like a brandable thing to go and take to mass. So it needs to be its own brand. It needs to be branded like a Phantom, for example, and then whatever that branding is, it needs to go out to the world. And I'm very confident in this team's ability to scale user bases. That's the one thing in the world that I'm never worried about. Our ability is that, can this team go and get more eyeballs, get more people clicking on this website and onboarding? I think our issue before we get to that step and we scale the portal product is making sure that's built to convert. Right now, it's built to convert Web3 natives, but they aren't, I think, the huge TAM that's in front of us. I think in the short term, there's probably things we can be doing in Korea that are things that we can be doing in the United States, and you'll see those short-term fixes. But what I'm really focused on is going into the new year, having Portal rebranded, having this really new, robust product that we can go and take to the biggest streamers in the world, the biggest influencers in the world, and have them play games like LOL Land.
So would it be safe to say that outside of Pudgy Penguin, Abstract wants to kind of funnel these different IPs and other projects as kind of not a sub-brand. They're doing that on boards on the Abstract. in the beginning, maybe it was Pudgy Penguin, but these brands are being nurtured by abstract, and thus the X factor is becoming bigger and bigger again.
Yeah, there is an edge case for deploying and building on abstract, which is one of the hopes for abstract is a couple things. The first one is we saw the opportunity in blockchains, the same way we saw the opportunity in NFTs. Blockchains, like, there's no way that we're the first one to pull off an app store, but we are, right? So it's like there's like obvious things that need to be done that blockchains haven't been doing that we believe we can innovate on and help pioneer what the future of blockchains look like. One. Two, we needed a place to build all of our Pudgy Penguin products on top of, right? Pudgy Penguins has products in Walmart that have L2 integrations. Like that L2 and that value should accrue to our ecosystem and our community. And so I didn't want to leak value. And the third one is really understanding, I think, the core ability to distribute and fix the consumer journey and really do something that I think nobody in crypto has been able to do, which is really scale a mass market ecosystem. And so those, I think, are the three functions that I think abstract served in the beginning, but I think it's metamorphosized into something so much bigger.
Very well. Going over to you, Gabby. When I go into the abstract community, the sports and pages, Telegram groups, there's more and more users like asking for tips on how to get more XP through Lowland. And it seems like Lowland has become one of those brands in abstract that's following all the craze that Luca just explaining. Can you touch upon that?
Yeah, so XP is really interesting because it's a platform-wide way to jumpstart your user base with an abstract. And I think the intention of the abstract team, at least from the way I see it, is that it wants to give you the jumpstart on your audience when you launch. I don't think that teams should be using it as a crutch for their GTM. So it definitely helped us bootstrap our initial user base. And now we've identified, okay, these are the things that we want them to do within our game that can help them get XP. And that has kind of helped boost the retention of the community that is using the game. So yeah, when used properly, I think XP is a great way to just align incentives further within your community. But one thing I want to say to all developers is that do not use that as a crutch for your own GDM.
So yes, I was hoping you would address more because again, XP is one way to get in, but out of it, you're creating much more value. You're basically building an on-ramp for all these things involved on abstract, and Lowland is just one of them. And could you touch upon that and add also what's your roadmap after Lowland and
last week we just released the game called Giga Chat with our friends from D Labs. And the process for getting into Abstract portals actually changed a bit in the last 4 months. So now Abstract wants us to see that we can get our own users before getting listed on the portal, before getting XP, which is, I think, a great way to see that these apps can survive on their own. So now we're lining up our creators, our date nights. We had PC Bank activation the other day to prove that, yes, we can get our own users and we can even get new users into the platform and into our game.
Right. So another question for you, Gabby. Gaming has, I think, not been trending very well. And since I see there are a lot of chains that are kind of like dismissing the whole sector, but we all know that gaming is the best user adoption subject. What's your view on?
Yeah, I think there's been a lot of negativity in Web3 gaming in the last few years, and since the heights of 21, I think people have tried to create some Web3 products that are trying to go after the Web2 user, Web 2.5, and I think the biggest mistake has been kind of getting the cart before the horse. We're not making products for the people who are here right now. I think for YDG Play, we want to make products that delight the Web3 user, the casual degen, and then use the strength of that to radiate outwards. And that's been succeeding for us so far.
Okay. Since we're kind of out of time, there are 2 questions I would like to address. So we are probably going to go over time. But one is, in addition to that, while there's a lot of the chains are now focusing on DeFi because that's a trend, how do you keep yourself focused because most of the DeFi stuff that's on Abstract is complementary to consumer onboarding and mass user adoption. So the focus is on consumer crypto. So how do you keep that focus? The second question is, since Korea is a consumer-led market, we'd like to kind of address one of their questions. What's the future for XP? Probably after TGE and Yafting.
Yeah, so I will say the whole purpose of Abstract, we are a purpose-built chain, meaning we're not general purpose, so we're not doing 100 different things. And so I was actually a little naive though, because the one thing I didn't focus on at all was DeFi. But what DeFi does is it enables liquidity to make these consumer experiences like Gabby's better. And so the one thing that we were deficient on early on is DeFi. I don't look at it as like a priority where I want to be the biggest and best DeFi chain. I'll leave it up to Arbitrum. I'll leave that to Ethereum and those chains because I think they will serve that function better. But I did neglect it more than I think we should have. And so we're fixing that. And I think that's going to add a lot more liquidity to the chain. That's going to enable consumer behaviors like meme coins and certain applications like LOL lanes have, more robust systems that they can enable to make their games more fun and more enjoyable. XP, the elephant in the room is, XP will eventually, index you for some future rewards. The one thing I've been super proud about over the last couple of years is I think Pudgy Penguins and the Igloo, and I think Abstract will follow in this spirit, is we've been the most generous ecosystem this cycle. If you look at the money we've taken and extracted from Web3, which is zero, no mints, basically no royalties, and the money we've given, we gave over $1.5 billion today's prices. No company in crypto that is net new over the last 4 years has that spread of generosity. I'm in the business of mutually beneficial relationships. I'm in the business of supporting the people who support us. I'm in the business of giving back to the people who see and that prop our products up for success. I do look at the XP system eventually, and our vision for it was like Amex rewards. And I always look at XP as the cherry on top. Gabby said something that I really appreciate, which is, you should be using Abstract because you actually love it. And if you don't love it, I don't recommend you use it because it's not easy to gain the XP. Everyone complains about, oh, I don't know how I get XP. That's intentional. I don't want you to know because I don't want you coming for that reason. Now, I want you to be rewarded if for some reason you perform good actions or actions that matter. And if you spend time, but don't use the chain if you think that's like the only thing you're going to get. Use it as an extra benefit, because you're playing LOL land and you love it so much.
It's not just a points farming program.
Yeah, and we're intentional there. And I think I'm very conscious of. I think where most chains have gone post TGE, and we're going to make sure that we address that with the XP system moving forward.
Great. Thank you for your answer. So this will be the end of the panel. I did ask the organizers for 30 minutes plus, but here it is. Look forward to more from Abstract and YGG.
Thank you.